Why you care what happened last time? Fine. Won't tell you what happened last time.
Just sending a message. A message you obviously didn't fucking hear. Consider this your last warning, Aiden. Back the fuck off!
And that is entirely enough of that.
We'll make friends with bigger doggies. Big doggies. Strong doggies.
That's a Yaguai, you fucking moron. A big-ass bear, not a dog.
Bear sounds strong. We'll make friends with bears.
You know what? You go on out there and find yourself a pack of bears. Go nuts.
Yes!
Hey, boss. Now that I got that fucking dumbass on my head, I can think again. There's still a lot of scabs around here that haven't joined up. Thinking it might help if we try going to them. I'll be working on the other idea I had. I don't want to mention it until I can figure out if it'll work first. Give me some time, boss.
Hey guys, kinggath here, and welcome to episode 29 of my Fallout 4 Sim Settlements Forever Let's Play, and we are in Mutant Hound City, which is what Starlight has become. Yeah, there are so many of them. I gotta start taking these guys on raids with me. My god, they're everywhere. I'm not sure if this is a bug or what's going on, because I don't think I've captured nearly this many, but whatever. We're gonna do some of the main quests. So we're gonna go hit up, I think Jammer's got something for us, and we're gonna start doing some of that. Probably not gonna catch up all of it today, because there's it'll take quite a while to do all the content.
Excuse me.
Damn, boss. This Travis guy on the radio is a total puss.
I guess you got nothing for me.
Dudes aren't bad, but shit. This guy's practically begging to have his ass kicked.
I agree.
Let's cut the bullshit. What are we doing, boss?
You tell me. I thought you were gonna have a quest for me. Maybe it was Ophelia as the next one.
Hey there.
So, before you head out again,
here we go.
let me see your Pip-Boy for a sec. Ha! Done. I was looking at one of the radios those Minutemen carry, and I think I've isolated their frequency range. I should be able to piggyback off of it from HQ and reach you on your Pip-Boy with that software I just gave you. When we're using it, all they'll hear is some louder static. Hopefully, I think. Telecommunications was never really my strong suit. At any rate, this will allow us to get a hold of you while you're out doing whatever it is you're doing. Next time you're away from HQ, try tuning to our piggyback signal to see if you can hear me. For now, it'll just be me saying something on a loop. We can use it for more later on as needed.
Cool. All right, let's go knock this out. This one's real easy. There's not a lot of action to it or anything. But we needed to, we realized that one of the problems with doing a quest line like we're doing, where there's kind of a central character that you've got to check in with all the time, is that it can be cumbersome to have to go check in constantly whenever we want to advance the quest line or to have one of the characters there. So this was, not only did it make sense narratively because we've got the Minutemen rocking radios and stuff, but it also just kind of solved a little issue I think that this method of doing quest design has. And I love this method. I love having like a central character we can bounce off of and build up. But yeah, this was kind of a easy solution that worked in nicely. So we just have to go. I don't remember how far we have to go, but we're gonna just wander for a bit. All right, so we've got our power armor, and that means we're definitely far enough away. We can test the radio signal here. Let's see. So it should, well, that's no good. Looks like we got ourselves a nice little bug for the weekly log. Ophelia is actually supposed to have a message playing on loop there, and then when you tune in, you would actually hear her saying that. But apparently, I'm either missing some audio files or there's a problem with that radio loop. So some of you guys are probably wondering what's going on with there. But yeah, she actually has some words that she's saying there. So going on the bug list for the week. We'll get that resolved. But let's head back to Starlight, turn that into Ophelia, and we can. I think the next quest starts up right away. All right, let's go turn this into Ophelia. For some reason, she has taken a liking this little building back here in my Starlight. I'm not sure if this is like her house. Maybe she got auto assigned to it. I don't think so. Well, let's find out though. Well, I guess we can't find out if she's assigned to it or not. Currently, though, I do have something in the works to make that a little easier to find some of the lieutenants. We'll get that in there eventually. All right, let's turn this quest in.
Back already. Did it work?
Yep. Easiest job I've had in a while.
Excellent. I haven't heard any trace of the loop on the spare Minutemen radio rig other than some extra static. I think we're good.
Cool. Okay, so now I think, in fact, we can just do it from here. I think if we sleep 24 hours, I think that triggers the next bit. But let's make sure the quest completes. Ding. There we go. Hey, what's going on? All right, something wrong with my sound, so I'm going to fix that too. Okay, you know what feels really good?
Hey, if you're hearing this, it means it worked. If any Minutemen can hear this, go to hell.
Haha.
5.
Turned out it wasn't a bug after all. It was just that, let me turn that off now.
Hey,
I had
you're
a whole bunch of different volume settings in my game turned off from when I was making the patch notes video last week, and so yeah, so I had just turned off the radio volume, and of course that's a radio station. So turned that back on, and all of a sudden I could hear that loop while I was trying to fix my sound for the other thing, because for whatever reason I didn't hear the quest completion sound, and I can't figure out why that is, because those sounds were actually enabled. So no idea why that was. Maybe it's tied to the radio somehow. I'm not sure. But we slept, so now we're gonna go see. God, I have no idea. I just implemented all this, and I can't remember how it begins. Do I talk to you?
Excuse me.
They're not here yet, and Jammer's just hanging out in the hallway. So we will leave and come back. That's another way. So there's 2 ways you can trigger the next stage of the quest. Oh, and the other thing I got to check is, do I have enough outposts and vassals? Because I believe this stage takes 9 total, which I'm pretty sure we have. Oh, look at that network. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, we've got 11. We have more than enough to trigger the next quest. So we'll leave and come back and see if that triggers it. Sleeping is also supposed to trigger it, but it does not appear to have. It's also the chance that if you guys haven't seen them already, I've talked about them, but I don't know if I've shown any on cam yet, that there's these little scenes that we have where different characters from the story or just different raiders will just like play out a little scene where they're talking to each other. Kind of like those scenes you might see randomly between some of the vanilla NPCs like Sturgis and Mama Murphy. We'll have a conversation about Mama Murphy's past. Stuff like that. We get a lot of those peppered in. If one of those is playing, then the next main quest won't trigger because it wants to finish that up so that those characters aren't trying to do 2 things at once, and then that would just ruin all of the dialogue scenes. So, all right, yeah, he's not moving, so I don't know what's going on with his AI, but we're gonna leave, come back, and we'll see what happens. All right, this week Raybo has given us a handful of treasures. I picked out a couple that I really thought you guys would like to see. The first up is Rip and Tear by Pra, and this mod does something relatively simple. It adds a new magazine to unlock the Conqueror perk Execute. So right now the only way to get access to the Execute perk from Conqueror, which lets you basically murder anyone in the game, even the most essential characters. Normally you would have to attack the Concord group, so that would be Preston and company, and if you decided that you wanted to side with the Minutemen or leave them alive but still have access to the Execute perk to execute other characters in the game, you wouldn't have been able to, and now this mod solves that problem for you guys. Then the other mod is one that actually exists in other forms, and that's called Player Undead Death Recovery by SKK. And what this mod does is gives you an alternate death. So instead of you dying and then being forced to load an old save, instead it will take you back to a nearby settlement, and then you pay some sort of fee in caps. And the reason that I'm featuring this one, even though this mod I have seen in other forms, is who the author is. SKK50 does fantastic work. He tends to be very thorough about his mods to make them minimally invasive as far as vanilla edits, so that they're compatible with as many other mods as possible. And he tends to often add a lot of depth to his mods. So even though it's relatively simple right now, I would not be shocked to see him continue to expand on this mod idea. And so if you're interested in something like that, I would go check that out. I'm very curious to hear how it plays with Conqueror, because it would seem that, based on what I understand of how this works, is that if you were to die in one of your assaults or during a raid, the fight would continue to go on without you, and likely then you would lose all of those soldiers. So then there's actually a built-in penalty for that happening, which is exactly what a mod like this is aiming to do, is come up with an alternate penalty so that you can actually stick around and live with the consequences of your poor decision making and that you stayed in combat, as opposed to just reloading the save, which is like time traveling, like it didn't even happen. So I've always loved the idea of mods like this, and seeing one done by an author who cares for being wary of vanilla edits as much as I do is great to see. So check out Player Undead Death Recovery by SKK and Rip and Tear by Pra. All right, we're back up. Looks like the scene is all set up. So yeah, that was a good move to get out of the area and come back. If you ever have that happen where you see some of the NPCs stuck, what happens when you leave and then come back is that the game tries to reload everybody into a new location in the settlements, so that can sometimes get some of these scenes kind of moving again if they seem to be completely stuck in place where Jammer was like just stuck in that stairwell. I also had to reboot the game because I ran into the wonderful brown face bug, which happens when you tab out of the game, and I am always tabbing out of the game and then having to reboot. It's a real pain in the butt. I know people have asked me to release the face texture data and everything for Conqueror and Sim Settlements, and I actually have that generated and installed as a test on this machine, and it still doesn't prevent that bug. Yay, Fallout! All right, let's go see what the guys need, and we'll move forward on the next quest.
Oh, good. Mo's still here. And the Yaguar's still here, too. Fucking awesome.
No thanks to you, Jams.
Leah, can you not with that shit? Got a lot on my mind.
What on mind? Where mind? Maybe more move it?
Here, sweetie, have some snack cakes. Why don't you go share them with your friends?
Fancy fancies?
Yep, I know you like those.
Ah,
Jammer, you need to get over whatever funk you've been in lately and get your head back in the game. We need to deal with Aiden and the Minutemen. They're more than a nuisance now. They're a real threat. You need to put aside whatever history you have with him and look at this objectively.
I'm aware, Leah. Shit has not been going to plan. I'm off my game. But I got an idea. Although, you're probably not gonna like it.
Great.
Boss, that thing I was working on. I made contact with a guy at the Saugus Ironworks.
Oh, no, not those forged nut jobs.
Told you wouldn't like it. Force are about to go through a change in leadership, though. The up-and-comer is looking for support. I'm thinking if we help them out, we got a whole other gang that owes us.
Oh yeah, because that's totally how gangs think.
We need recruits that ain't gonna flake. They're wackos, yeah, but they ain't flakes. You got a better idea you've been hoarding, Leah?
No, but...
Then shut up. Boss, this is a gamble, but it could pay off big for us.
I assume you'll explain what you're talking about at some point.
The current boss is Saugus, guy called Slack. Majority of his gang wants him offed. The up-and-comer is what you call a true believer. Real religious zealot wacko. We get him on our side, though. We got fighters that won't quit. One thing we ain't got in our arsenal are believers. Believers are heavy caliber, if you catch my drift. Hey, your call, boss. But I don't see us moving forward without a serious dose of new blood. We gotta get more proactive.
Okay, let's do this.
I guess it's worth the risk. Let's do this.
Go hit up a guy named Bellows at Saugus. He knows to expect you. I'll meet up with you there after me and Willie pay Corvega a visit. Gotta dust off some old equipment.
Wait, Jammer. You're heading out there to reclaim the rust bucket, right? That's why you need Willie?
That's the idea.
Then, here. Take this. Plug it into that spare port for the HUD interface.
The hell is it?
It'll let you broadcast to me here and to his Pip-Boy, just like I can from the radio here at HQ.
Cool, yeah, no problem. Okay, I'm heading out.
Be safe, Jams.
I'll be fine. I got Willie watching my back.
All right, thank God for those recap intros because it has been so long since we've done any of the main quest. And you guys are just coming to this part of the series probably have no idea what's going on because I don't think we've done anything in the main quest in like 4 or 5 episodes now, maybe longer. Yeah, this is something, and I still didn't play the sound for the quest starting. I got something disabled. I have no idea what it is. Oh well, we'll figure it out later. Yeah, this is I love the patch. This is from the True Believers patch we're starting. And this is some of the first stuff we're like really integrating with some of the main game things, like when we're talking about the Forged. Really something we've been wanting to do since the beginning is start tying in a lot of the random raider and what you would quote unquote bad guy stuff that's already in the game and kind of tie that into our story so that this feels like part of the main game, but just its own thing still, I guess. But yeah, there's the intention to allow you to play a bad guy has been growing, and we want to tie in all these elements here because there's all these great little backstory things that we could tap into. A lot like what the Depravity mod has done from Thuggy Smurf, that it ties in a lot of these random cool elements that were already in the game that can give you that darker side playthrough. So we've been trying to do some of the same, and this is one of the first big things we do for that. So let's go head over to Saugus, and we'll go from there. All right, decided to do fast travel to Slog, and notice we got a little control issue. Definitely need to get another guard over here so we don't end up getting attacked and losing control of this place. But I can see Bellows across the river over there, so let's go give him a little poke and see what he's got for us.
You coming from Jammer, then?
Yeah.
Praise the flame. Your arrival is fortuitous. We could use your aid.
Oh, I gotta answer sarcastic this because I think he's got a good response.
Good. Here I was afraid I'd have nothing to do.
As you're here to help, I'll ignore your heretical tone. We have a window of opportunity to strike out against our faithless leader this very minute. He and his inner circle are initiating a new recruit in the Forge. If you can help us in killing them while they're isolated, we can take care of the rest of his heretics on the premises. One beautiful, purging flame to eliminate the impure elements within. But we must move quickly and decisively. Go now. Seek the Forge and purge all within, including the Initiate.
No problem. Love murdering people. Alright, let's head inside. Now this is supposed to make, at this point in the quest, the Forge should be friendly out here, but we'll see if it worked or not. This is some of the, I mentioned this in I think last week's episode, maybe the week before, that we've been playing around with hijacking code to take over the various areas. And yep, cool, it got changed all to Bellows Forge so that we don't have to murder everybody. In the first alpha of this, you ended up having to just murder your way in here, and it was kind of awkward. As one of as Phil T Casual, one of our most active testers, pointed out, and we decided to change that last minute. All right, let's head in. Oh, you weren't supposed to see that. A little bit of the scripting magic happening in front of us. Whoops. Well, your dialogue scene broke. Well, that's okay. There's a vanilla dialogue scene that's supposed to... Whoa! Get out of here. Too slow. Oof. Oh, hey there. Is that everybody? Alright, let's go turn that in. Nice and easy. Yeah, there's supposed to be like a dialogue scene where Slag yells at you and then kills that person that falls in. I don't know why that broke down. Hopefully not from anything that we did. I played through that. Oh, hey, forgot about this.
Nice.
There we go. Anyway, I've never seen that scene break before. Oh yeah, there's definitely something wrong here. Because this, I can't jump right here. And that usually means pre-combines are broken. So I'm guessing that some mod has broken the pre-combines in this place. And I also don't remember, what is this? Yeah, there's definitely some mod tweaking this. If anybody knows what mod has done anything like this, Fusion Core, oh, that's because I just ran out of Fusion Core. If anybody knows what mod is editing this cell, I would like to know, because it broke a scene. That's no good. So speaking of doing a mod breakdown to figure out which ones we need to gut for the next playthrough, there's clearly something in here. And we're under assault by our friends, the Minutemen. Well, let's do this. Oh, yes. Right in the gut. Oh, perfect level up. I love it. Always fantastic and ridiculous. There we go. This week's add-on pack is Captain Cosmos Construct by ChuChu1. This is for those of you who own the Captain Cosmos creation, and it adds a new recreational building to Sim Settlements, and it ties into all of the new Captain Cosmos assets that were added by that plugin, so definitely go check that out if you've got that. And for those of you who have been considering making an add-on pack, this is such a great idea to do for one, as you can take just a small idea, make just a single building plan, and release it, especially with the ESL format available. It's really no problem to release small add-on packs like this. So if you've ever thought about getting in on making a Sim Settlements add-on and you are concerned about having to make something bulky, that's definitely not necessary. Even a single building adds a lot of value and adds extra selection for people. And there are a lot of people out there who are collecting all of the different add-on packs, so don't be afraid to give that a go. So props out to Choo-Choo1 for finally getting a building pack out. He has been a follower of the mod for quite some time, so it's awesome to see him get that. And I would love to see more of you guys do the same. Nothing? Oh, I think I have another objective. Totally blanked on that. Search the Minutemen leader for information. Yep. Super Weevil, if you're watching this, Super Weevil's our lead writer. That was an awkward moment where talking to Bellows doesn't say anything. We should probably come up add some lines there. Here we go. All right, I guess we should listen to this holotape too. Can do that while I loot.
Men know why we're here. We've got a chance to behead the dragon. We can't afford any more mistakes.
Sir?
I have it on good authority their leader will be heading to the Saugus Ironworks soon. So we're pushing the plan forward. Hugo, I want you taking point on this. When your scouts report the target is on site, attack as soon as you see an opening. Go for the throat. No prisoners. I don't want any of those Saugus psychopaths causing trouble further down the line. You see anyone on our wanted list, kill on sight.
Cap, you have mentioned taking some of the leadership prisoner?
The rules have changed, Lieutenant. No one lives. You all understand me?
Yes, sir.
I've let sentiment cloud my judgment long enough. This has to end. Dismissed, Hugo. You know what to expect from Lewis for support. You've got your orders. Head out ASAP.
Sir.
Lieutenant Lewis, you and your men will stand up.
Aiden! You son of a bitch. Oops, I'm not supposed to curse. Children's show. Alright, let's turn this out.
The Minutemen caught us off guard during our purge of the outer perimeter. Your entrance was timely. Tell me, has the forge been cleansed? Do any heretics yet live?
Nope. They're dead.
Praise the flame.
Oh, looks like my helmet mod.
Jammer's faith.
I thought that was just like a
well-placed,
fluke
it would
earlier,
seem.
but it seems to be not working at all anymore.
Before we pledge our fire to you, I have one further request. My sister, Bedlam, has asked for my help with a most unorthodox task. Bedlam leads her own flock in a nearby quarry. She and her followers have divergent beliefs of their own, but they are allies.
Kind of need to turn
Ours
my
is a symbiotic relationship.
helmet
We
mod into a
rely on
helmet
each
shoulder
other for
mod,
survival,
but hide those too.
but keep our separate counsel on matters of faith. Due to the nature of this particular request, it would be most unseemly to send one of my flock to her aid. Do this for me, and our pact will be forged.
Oh, some clever wordplay, Bellows. All right, we're gonna. I think we're gonna save the other quest for later because the next quest like leads directly into the one right after that, so it'll take a long time, and stopping isn't really possible. And I think I want to go spend a lot of time in settlements today because we are finishing up the wall, which we only barely touched. So yeah, so we're gonna leave Into the Depths for next week's episode. So if you guys haven't played through that, you might want to do that before next episode so you don't get the spoilers. All right, so the thing finally finished refreshing and the button's red, so that's a good sign. So let's go ahead and hit this. Oh, hold on, Q. We'll come back to you in a second. Yes, it's working. Here we go. I love that siren sound. Here we go, it's lighting up. Ha ha ha. There we go. Okay, so we've got the energy weapons to control the weather. So now, anytime we want to change the weather, now obviously we're using Workshop Framework to cheat. In fact, we're cheating the weather all the time. I use the what's it called? True Storm's holotape to do it all the time. I use Workshop mode, so it's not super important. But if you wanted to play super immersively, and you know you're okay with the idea that science could get to controlling the weather, which I think that's more plausible than getting to teleportation, what the Institute have done, so this seems fine to me. But basically what you can do is you can come into the terminal in here, pick one of the tapes, and then when you push this button, that determines which weather gets set. And you'll see that one of the reasons that that is such a perfect tie-in to what we're doing here is that Euclid's Seafinder requires sunlight to work. So you can basically hit the weather change, force it to be sunlight, and then reactivate the tower that way, which was one of the little fun tie-ins. But it looks like, so normally you wouldn't be able to turn in that holotape that we decrypted using the computer lab and several episodes ago now. You shouldn't be able to turn it into Q until after you completed that quest, but there had been a bug, which I've now since fixed, that allowed me to do it early, so Q is already ready. So if I go talk to him, it sounded like he's triggered that line.
All right, I think I've got it figured out, but you're going to need to fetch some materials.
I'll get right on it.
Great, get on with it then.
Okay, so he gave me some lists. Most of them are pretty easy, and then you get to this, and they just seem insane. So, like, we actually already have the microtransponder board synced with the Helios Tower, and the I'm trying to satellite orbit calculations. I think we get those from the observatory, and then the Poseidon uplink codes we get from, oh, I can't remember what the name. I think it's like there's a Poseidon place. It's like a Poseidon water plant or something. We get those there. So I'm not going to do all those this episode. I'll probably do them next episode because, like I said, I want to spend all my time. Oh, what happened there? Oh, apparently he gave me the list twice. All right, but I'm going to be building the wall. So, but yeah, that's if you're at this point, that's what you do next. As far as the observatory, I believe it's a certain day of the week. So if you've played around with the terminal in there, the terminal has a bunch of notes about how it's busted and the entries are all random. The actual entry you need will show up, I believe, on Wednesdays, but I could be wrong on that. We'll figure it out for when we actually complete that part of the quest. It's endorsement time. So this week I actually clicked it before I started hitting record by mistake, but the one mod that I wanted to endorse was Lucky Bastard. It turned out that it wasn't actually broken last week. It was just that I didn't realize it didn't work on containers. It only works on actual doors. But the idea behind Lucky Bastard is one I love, which is expanding the different ways you can approach problems, because that's one of the great parts about these open world RPGs. So definitely had to give a thumbs up to Lucky Bastard. But like always, the point of this section is just remind you guys, just come over here in Vortex, change the endorse column to undecided, and just go slam those thumbs up for everybody. All these mod authors put in all this time. Least you can do is help them get into hot files. And then if you really like a mod or you want to see, give some good feedback to a mod author, just right-click on that mod in Vortex, and you can go view on Nexus and go leave them a comment. All right, we are back in Sanctuary. We've actually got the next little bit of our weapons research quest to do, so we'll do that. But I did run into a little quirk that I've been battling since we added the HUD for Conqueror. I'm not sure why it came up in Sanctuary. This has never happened to me before, but for moments like this, I actually snuck a little hotkey into the MCM menu last minute before releasing the patch, because I knew it would be easy to add. And if you have the same issue happen where the faction HUD, the HUDs from Conqueror are popping up somewhere where they shouldn't, or if they never went away properly, if you go down to the very bottom of Conqueror, you can set a hotkey to force hide the HUD. So we're going to use that. We're going to do, I guess, J. Actually, hold on, I gotta. Yeah, here we go. Quick data. We're not going to use that. We'll use J. And it should, there it goes, it hides. If you're in a settlement, or rather an outpost or vassal where they're supposed to show, that hide will only hide them temporary until the next update happens, and then like the next update that's supposed to trigger an update to the HUD, and then it'll just come back again. But when you're in a place where it's not supposed to be, like I am right now, I'm in a non-outpost, non-vassal, it should keep it hidden. And it made a liar of me immediately. Oh, I don't know what's going on. Why Sanctuary? And oh, you know what we're dealing with? I bet we're dealing with massive script lag. Let's see what settlement pops up. Well, we'll let that go while that's doing that. So the objective I got, and I just didn't hit record fast enough for you guys to see it, but was to solve the power situation for the Weapons Research Center. So this is one of those ones. This is one of those ones where you might not catch on if you had complex objectives set up, or rather, I'm sorry, I'm trying to think of whether I even have those on. I might have simple objectives off. Either way, if you listen to Q, he gives you hints about how you're supposed to do this one, and he basically, if you keep listening to him, he eventually hints that you need to get up on the roof, and if you do that, you'll find, and I'm going in and out of workshop mode trying to get the flight to trigger, so I don't have to build something to climb up there. But we might just build something. I clearly have some serious script lag going on, which you guys have seen I've had in past episodes. So part of the danger of going up to 50 settlers in a settlement, or 51 in our case. But okay, we'll just go do this. But if you just basically run a cable, and what's interesting, I don't remember how I pulled this off, but you can't actually activate this little node here. But if you start outside, like from any power pole nearby, or just the plot itself, and attach a wire to there, it's an eligible connection, and you'll get a solve the power situation update. And now my button there isn't red, and that might mean that this isn't going to work. This is something I actually tried to fix in I don't remember if it was this patch or the patch before, but I tried to fix that recently because that button's supposed to light up red, but hopefully it'll work. So this should be the end of the advanced weapons research. Let's find out if that's going to work or not. It does not appear to be. So we'll refresh the plot, and that should get that unstuck. Or we could be just dealing with script lag again. But we'll go ahead and refresh the plot. So if you get to this point in the quest and it doesn't work, usually refreshing the plot will solve it for you. It'll just kind of recreate everything. So let's let that happen. And let's try our hide in the HUD again with the hotkey. And while that's refreshing, we're gonna do a little lap over here. And we'll check and see if there's anything. We'll see. First of all, I want to see if that if the HUD pops back up yet again. But I also want to see if there's anything we forgot to upgrade over here. I don't think so. I think we finally did it. We finally got everything all the way upgraded. Oh, let's check for a new magazine. I haven't done that in a while. See if we got any new perks. Hey, there we go. It's not giving me the perk. That was odd. Alright, let's pop that open. Do we have another bug on our hands? This could be related to a mod I have, though, because there's I've got mods that are messing with all of the inventory stuff. So it's possible they killed off the script that's on there. But I'll add it to my weekly list of things to investigate and see if we can resolve it. Where is that magazine? Let's see. Magazines. What was that called? I already forgot. See, these Scaver 1 and 2, those were definitely from us. These are done by Ruined World. Let's see here. RB next. Here we go. Those two are done by Ruined World. Here it is. Zen and the Art of Fusion. This was done by one of our artists, Fuji. He does fantastic work. Love the style of this. And yeah, it doesn't appear to have. In fact, neither of these are showing up. I don't remember if it's supposed to show on this screen, but I don't remember getting the little perk bonus from any of these. So clearly, I think one of the mods that's set up to add these tags, I think, broke the scripts on them. Something did. So there are little tiny perks that you get with all of the magazines that come from the magazine shop. They're just they're real minor though. They were designed knowing that we were going to be giving you like 20 different perks. We didn't want to make the game unbalanced. So they're little bonuses, but I would take them if we could get them. All right, let's see if this refresh worked. Or if it's still going. It looks like it's still refreshing. And the refresh is not supposed to take this long as Sim Settlements. Again, I know that for a fact. That's because of just how much stuff we've got going on here. But it does definitely take longer than I'd like. And unfortunately, that's one of those things where as we've added more and more features into Sim Settlements, the refresh has to handle all those. Because the idea with the refresh is that it fixes any problems that have come up. So the refresh takes way longer than I would like. And it's especially... it's a little more pronounced in the plots like this, these ones with quests in them, because there are actually like dozens of invisible items to make the quests actually function. So, all right, I'm tired of waiting for that, so we'll come back to it in a little bit. We're gonna go over, and I'm gonna show you guys what my plan is, and hopefully I can get flight mode working, because it'll be very difficult to do this without that. So let's try going in and out again. Otherwise, I might have to set manual hotkeys for Workshop Framework. There it goes. It's triggering. Well, at least part of it is. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so I've got this mountain of stuff over here. And this is something I learned watching Donald Strong build settlements. And he kind of does a palette system. Kind of finds items he likes and lays them out. And what I like to do when I'm doing settlement design is I like to pick elements from the area and use those in my wall designs. And so these are some items that either were from the Project Blueprint tools, like these walls with the sanctuary tiling on them. And then I found a bunch of random junk items that I never scrapped. This is the reason I don't. One of the reasons also that I don't go through and just scrap my whole settlement. I love leaving as much intact in the junk as possible. So I found a bunch of random bits that I thought would make nice additions to the wall, because I didn't want to just spam a bunch of these big junk walls that would look really boring. So I want to have some elements to make it feel like Sanctuary, to make it feel like it was a little kind of handmade, like just dealing out of desperation. So we're going to use some of these elements, and I'm going to take advantage of the copy paste function of Workshop Plus, so that we can spawn some of these in by just, I can basically pick up any of these things. So like this thing, and we're going to also use a lot of, and let's see if I can do it in here. Oh, I gotta, forgetting how Place Everywhere works. Yeah, there we go. We can use the mouse to spin these around, but I basically have one of these in like this white tile, one in yellow. Where's that one? Here. Let's see if we can get that to spin up. And then I think I have a blue one sitting somewhere. Let's see. This one might be actually the blue one. Let's turn it. Can we turn that to the sun? Let's change. Yeah, I think that might be the blue one. Let's see here. Spin. Here we go. Nope, that's the white one. So I think I have a blue tile one I'm going to go find. I remember laying it out. I'll do that either off camera, or we'll do what I'm planning to do, which is I'm going to build all of this, and then our savior Luke will fast forward it, and you guys can just watch a time lapse, so you don't have to watch me decorating. I do want to show a couple of little bits of ideas though, so you guys can kind of get the general idea I'm going for. So here's a little section I started with, so kind of give you an idea of what I'm going to be going for. I didn't use any of the like random bobs and bits in there, but I did put some of the chunks of ruined house in there to show off like the idea of building this with scrap that you could find. And so I'm going to use these junk walls, and these are up at 150% of normal, because when I built the ones in the last episode, just to show you guys roughly what I had in mind, they weren't intimidating enough. They weren't covering up high enough to cover the buildings, which means that, you know, nearby raiders could be taking pot shots at us. So I went with 150%. I feel like that still looks good, like it doesn't stretch the textures too much, but they look way more intimidating. And so we're going to start with probably a barrier of a mix of these types of walls, and then I'm going to flesh it out with a lot of this other stuff. And I might take breaks in there and maybe add some cars in the middle. But we're going to try and build like a proper junk wall that looks like it was crafted over time, and not just a copy paste of this. So I'm going to try and get a little artistic here and make it look real nice. So that's why we're going to time lapse this, because this is probably going to take me an hour or more, because this is a lot of settlement to cover. And we'll probably move all of this security fencing that I stuck over here earlier. We'll probably move that inside. So likely that's going to become fencing to separate off the industrial center from the rest of the settlement. And then the outside is going to be this mega protective wall. So that's kind of what I'm going for. So I guess we will cue the time lapse. Okay, quick coffee break. So you notice I quit decorating at some point because I realized it was going to take me forever, but also because I don't think we need it everywhere. I kind of want to do the really cool looking fences, like this type of stuff I've been doing, all in the front because that's where we're going to see it. That's where we're going to take our screenshots from, and then in the back I'm going to get a little bit lazier for the fact of the screenshot factor and the performance factor. So I'm losing frame rate with every new piece I put down, and the goal ultimately is to release this as a city plan. So if I make it chug too hard, then nobody else is going to use the dang thing, and it'll be a waste of time. So I am going to go down to mostly using just wall pieces, and then like I'll do stuff like this over here, where if I've got an awkward space between the fencing as I start to lay it out, because I am going to have to do kind of some bending and twisting and stuff. So whenever I get to weird spots, I'll probably just use like creative filler to fill in the gaps. But yeah, we're gonna slow down on the artsy stuff now on this side, and we'll just do that on the front, just because of for performance mostly. I would be totally willing to put in all the hours necessary, but let's not melt all of your machines. We have got a freaking wall. So I didn't do the entryway here because I think I got to come up with something kind of epic to do here. So like we've got all these turrets and stuff, but I think I need to build, do something a little better with them. They're just kind of spammed right there, which I'm not a huge fan of, and I don't think we need that much defense anyway. But I have been talking about getting some laser turrets, which I haven't unlocked yet because I have the manual for turrets. So we'll do that later. But I got to come up with something interesting to do with this opening. I want to make sure these marshal plots are all exposed, but also, you know, make sure this just looks real interesting instead of what I did around most of the back. So I'm gonna go off cam and probably spice up this a little bit more, do some more of this stuff, because I barely touched what I wanted to do. I was just kind of showing you guys the flavor, the general idea. I'm gonna turn this whole front side into more just like a mountain of junk holding up the wall, with the boards and stuff that I used just being kind of the brace to hold it into place. So we're gonna do something pretty big and fantastic over here, and then we can start regressing it down for city levels. But yeah, I think that'll wrap it up for today.